United States is often seen as a land of opportunity and freedom. It's where people dream of building better lives, but the reality isn't always as glamorous as it seems. If you are thinking of moving to the United States to earn more money and live a better life, you are thinking wrong. In this video, we will give 10 reasons not to move to United States. You might want to think twice. Number 1. High cost of living. Living in the USA can be expensive. Housing is the single largest expense for most Americans, and the costs have been steadily rising. In 2024, individuals spent, on average, 33.3% of their income on housing. This exceeds the 30% benchmark typically considered affordable. Major cities like New York and San Francisco are particularly expensive. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is now $4,200 per month, a 5.7% increase from 2023. The median home price in the U.S. is $416,000 as of late 2024, making it difficult for many families to purchase homes, particularly as mortgage interest rates hover around 7.5%. Number 2, expensive healthcare system. The U.S. healthcare system is among the world's most expensive, heavily impacting the cost of living. In 2024, the average premium for employer-sponsored insurance is over $8,500 for individuals and $22,000 for families. Deductibles, co-payments, and co-insurance add to the burden, with typical doctor's visits costing $20 to $100. Prescription drug prices are up to 4 times higher than in other countries, and emergency care can cost thousands. Approximately 28 million Americans remain uninsured, facing even higher costs. This financial strain affects families and businesses, with rising premiums and many Americans delaying care due to high expenses. Number 3, gun violence and safety concerns. Gun violence remains a pressing issue in the U.S., with over 600 mass shootings in 2023, averaging nearly 2 per day. This widespread violence creates a sense of insecurity in communities, affecting schools, workplaces, and public spaces, which have become frequent targets. The U.S. has the highest rate of civilian gun ownership globally, with 393 million guns in circulation, more than there are people. Firearms are involved in over 40,000 deaths annually, with a significant portion being suicides. Safety concerns are pervasive in schools, where nearly 50 shootings occurred in 2023. Many schools now implement lockdown drills and armed security to protect students. Public spaces, including workplaces and malls, are also vulnerable to gun violence, leading to heightened fears. Number 4. Income inequality. Income inequality remains a persistent and growing challenge in the United States, deeply impacting both the economy and society. The wealth gap between the richest and the poorest has reached alarming levels, with the top 1% of Americans holding more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. This stark disparity has far-reaching consequences as it exacerbates economic insecurity for millions of individuals and families, making it harder for them to achieve financial stability, access opportunities, and move upward in society. Many immigrants struggle to attain financial stability. In 2022, 14% of immigrants lived in poverty, compared to 12% of U.S.-born citizens. Many immigrants work in low-paying jobs despite having advanced degrees. Number 5. Limited public transportation. Public transportation in the United States is a significant issue, especially outside major urban areas. In most suburban and rural areas, owning a car is not just a convenience but a necessity. The cost of car ownership is substantial. On average, American car owners spend more than $10,000 annually on their vehicles, covering expenses such as insurance, fuel, maintenance, and repairs. Many other cities suffer from delays, overcrowding, and insufficient coverage. Overcrowded buses, trains, and subways during rush hours make commuting uncomfortable and unreliable. In addition, public transportation coverage is often limited to specific parts of the city, leaving areas further from the city center with few or no transit options. Number 6. Environmental challenges. The United States faces a range of significant environmental challenges that not only affect the nation's ecosystems, but also have far-reaching consequences for public health, economic stability, and global climate change efforts. One of the most pressing environmental concerns in the United States is its significant contribution to global carbon dioxide, CO2, emissions, as the second largest emitter of CO2 in the world. The United States is increasingly vulnerable to natural disasters, such as wildfires, hurricanes, and floods, are becoming more frequent and intense, creating widespread devastation and leaving communities struggling to recover. Another major environmental concern in the U.S. is urban sprawl. Widespread development leads to habitat loss and increased reliance on automobiles, contributing to pollution. Number 7. High education costs. The cost of higher education in the United States is a pressing issue that continues to affect millions of students and families across the country. With tuition fees rising at a faster rate than inflation, the U.S. has one of the highest costs of higher education in the world. This financial burden often leaves students and their families grappling with significant debt, and the challenges associated with paying for college education have become a barrier to access for many. In addition to rising tuition, the increasing reliance on student loans has created a generation of graduates struggling to manage debt for decades after completing their degrees. The average student loan debt for U.S. graduates is $37,000, with many repaying loans well into their 30s or 40s. Annual tuition for private universities can exceed $50,000, while public universities charge around $20,000 for out-of-state students. For families seeking quality education, these costs can be prohibitive. Number 8. Complex immigration system. Navigating the U.S. immigration system is often a long, intricate process that poses significant challenges for many. Visa challenges, work visas, such as the H-1B, are in high demand, with limited availability and stringent eligibility requirements. Applicants must meet specific qualifications, and even after being granted a visa, they often face additional hurdles, such as long processing times and the risk of denial. One of the most frustrating aspects of the U.S. immigration system is the waiting time for a green card. For some applicants, it can take several years or even decades, depending on their country of origin. The U.S. immigration system is the constant fluctuation in immigration laws and policies. Over the years, the U.S. has witnessed numerous shifts in immigration policy, with changing administrations introducing new rules, regulations, and executive orders. Number 9. Cultural adjustment. Adjusting to life in the USA can be challenging for newcomers as they navigate cultural differences. The emphasis on individualism may feel isolating for those from collectivist cultures, while the fast-paced, work-centric lifestyle often leaves little time for family or leisure. Language is a significant factor in cultural adjustment for immigrants in the U.S. While English is the primary language, regional accents, slang, and idiomatic expressions can make communication challenging. The U.S. has a variety of dialects, with differences in pronunciation, vocabulary, and syntax that may leave newcomers feeling confused or out of place. For many immigrants, adapting to these cultural norms takes time and can lead to feelings of homesickness or isolation. Number 10. Social safety nets. The United States is known for offering fewer social safety nets compared to other developed nations, which can leave individuals and families vulnerable, especially in times of economic or personal hardship. The U.S. is the only developed country without a federally mandated paid parental leave policy. While some states and employers offer it, many workers lack compensation after the birth or adoption of a child, putting pressure on parents who cannot afford unpaid time off and creating a difficult balance between family needs and financial stability. In the U.S., unemployment benefits are often limited both in duration and amount. While workers may be eligible for unemployment assistance during periods of job loss, the benefits typically only last for a few months, and the financial support provided may be insufficient to cover basic living expenses. So there you have it. 10 reasons why moving to the USA might not be the dream it's often made out to be. While it's a country filled with opportunities and diversity, it's important to understand the challenges that come with living there. If you're considering a move, make sure to do your research, weigh the pros and cons, and decide if the American way of life aligns with your personal goals and values. Do you agree with these points? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.